Sun goes down, the rules change. The shadows grow deeper. The sounds twist into something unfamiliar. And in the dark, things move that shouldn't exist. These two stories are about what comes out after nightfall. Stay quiet, stay inside, and never shine your light for too long. Story 1. The Night Watch at Elkthorn Fire Lookout. I was a seasonal fire lookout in northern Montana last summer. The job sounded perfect. 2 months alone in a wooden tower, paid to watch for smoke and storms. I wanted solitude. I didn't know what solitude could turn into. The tower at Elkthorn was old but sturdy, perched at the edge of a dense alpine basin, surrounded by peaks and pines. No cell service. Supplies came every 2 weeks via helicopter. It was just me, my journals, a weather radio, and miles of emptiness. The first week was bliss. I tracked clouds, read books, took long hikes along the ridge lines. At night, the stars were so bright it felt like drowning in the sky. But then came the second week, and something changed. It started with lights, tiny flickers deep in the tree line below. I assumed campers, but they never moved. Just a pinprick of yellow, barely glowing, always in the same spot, every night. By night 3, more appeared. A ring, 11 lights, flickering, holding formation. I used binoculars, tried to identify sources, but they didn't act like flashlights. They pulsed, faded, returned. And no matter how much I zoomed in, I saw nothing behind them. No bodies, no tents, no shadows. On the 4th night, they moved, just a few feet closer. And the next night, closer still. I reported it over the radio, but the dispatcher just said, probably hunters. I knew better. Hunters don't stand in perfect silence, holding light for 6 hours straight. Hunters don't watch. I tried to ignore it. I stayed inside, kept the lights off. But one night, I slipped up. I left my lantern on while I went to the bathroom, just 20 feet from the tower base. When I came back, the lights below were closer than ever, maybe 100 feet from the tower. I shut everything down and didn't sleep. At 3:12 a.m., I heard movement outside, gravel shifting, then wood creaking. Something had climbed the first 2 steps. I held my breath. Step, pause, step. I had my flare gun, but I was too scared to use it. I sat in the dark, praying it would go away. Then, I heard whispering. Multiple voices, low, syncopated, like they were repeating a phrase, but not quite in unison. I couldn't make out the words. Suddenly, silence. I didn't move. Eventually, the sky lightened. Morning, safe. I ran down and found footprints in the dirt. Dozens, barefoot, toes long, splayed, like someone had walked through the ashes of a fire. The lights didn't come back the next night. But the night after, I saw one of them. In daylight. Down by the old switchback trail it stood. Thin, gray-skinned, wearing clothes that looked like they'd been buried in the dirt. It didn't blink, it didn't move, but I knew it was watching me. I called for evac that afternoon. When the chopper came, I asked the pilot if he'd ever seen anything strange around Elkthorn. He hesitated, then said, "Only at night." He didn't say more, and I didn't ask. I've never gone back. I've never even looked at stars the same way since. Story 2. Whispers past midnight on Crater Lake. My cousin and I went camping near Crater Lake last October. We pitched our tent at a small, unmarked site a few miles off the rim. No one else around, just us, the stars, and the black stillness of the water. The first day was amazing. Hikes, photos, a swim, even though the water was freezing. But at night, that's when things got weird. It started with the whispering. Not loud, not threatening, just soft voices, like people having a conversation 10 feet from your tent. But we were alone. At first, we thought it was wind. Then we heard it again, clearer. A woman's voice. Then 2 men. They weren't speaking English. It sounded like something older, clicks and sighs between syllables. My cousin called out, "Hey, who's there?" Silence. Then laughter. Low, deep, and wrong. We grabbed our flashlights and stepped outside. Nothing. Just mist rolling over the ground. When we turned back to the tent, something was different. The door was open. We hadn't left it that way. Inside, the sleeping bags were still zipped, but on the mesh inner wall, a wet handprint, 5 fingers, long, webbed. We stayed up the rest of the night, fire blazing, knives in hand. At dawn, we planned to leave, but the forest had changed. The trail we came in on was gone, not overgrown, gone, like no one had ever walked it. The map didn't help. GPS dead. We were trapped. We hiked in the direction we thought was north. The trees twisted, literally. Their trunks spiraled upward like candy canes, and the branches bent low, brushing our heads. Birds flew backward. I swear one landed, looked me in the eye and said, "Stay." I laughed, thinking I was hallucinating. But my cousin had tears in his eyes. He heard it too. We found an old ranger cabin around noon, abandoned, rotted. Inside there were journals, pages scribbled in red ink, over and over. "Don't speak after midnight." Another line said, "You can't enter unless you answer." We stayed there that night, hoping shelter would help. It didn't. At 12:01, the whispers came back. Inside the cabin, they circled us. We couldn't see them, but the air grew thick, heavy. The temperature dropped 30 degrees in seconds. And then it asked, a voice, calm, polite, female. "Can I come in?" It came from the wall. My cousin screamed. I grabbed his mouth, whispered, "Don't say anything." It asked again, and again, until 3 a.m., then it stopped. When morning came, my cousin had a nosebleed. His ears were bleeding too. We ran. Eventually we hit the main road. A ranger saw us and asked where we'd been. We told him. He didn't laugh, just said, "You're lucky. Most who hear it, talk back." Now, I don't camp anymore. I don't hike at night. And if I hear a voice after midnight, I don't answer. Here's a refined, vivid, and immersive version of the outro that matches the tone and storytelling quality of the rest of your video script. Some things wait for the night to fall. They don't want sunlight. They don't want to be seen. They want you quiet, scared, alone. Maybe you'll see a strange light outside your window tonight. Maybe you'll hear a voice calling softly from the dark. If you do, don't answer, don't move, and whatever you do, don't look too long. More Nightfall stories are coming soon. Subscribe, stay in the light, and I'll see you after sundown.